Stop what you're doing, NFL fans, because something huge just happened in Pittsburgh. A veteran wide receiver, a future Hall of Famer, just walked into joint practice with the Steelers and completely embarrassed one of the league's most respected secondaries. The NFL better pay attention, because this guy is still that dude. Mike Evans. That name alone sends chills down the spine of defensive backs across the league. And once again, the Buccaneers legend reminded everyone why he's one of the most reliable and feared receivers in NFL history. During Thursday's joint practice in Pittsburgh, Evans absolutely torched the Steelers' secondary, a group loaded with experience and toughness. We're talking about corners who've been around the block, who know all the tricks, and who don't usually get exposed. But Evans made it look easy. Route after route, catch after catch, he was unstoppable. He didn't just win reps, he dominated them. And here's the wild part. This wasn't some rookie trying to prove himself. This is Mike Evans, a man entering his 12th NFL season, a player who has already secured his spot in the Buccaneers' history books as their greatest offensive weapon ever. He doesn't need to do this anymore. He doesn't owe anyone proof. But still, here he is, carving up defenses in practice like it's his first year in the league, showing the young guys how it's done. His presence is more than just numbers or highlight plays. Ask any Buccaneers cornerback, and they'll tell you, practicing against Mike Evans every day is like training against the best. He forces his teammates to raise their game. He sets the tone in camp, he leads by example, and he never has to run his mouth to do it. Evans doesn't brag, he doesn't showboat. He lets the football speak for him. And when it speaks, the whole league listens. Now think about this for a second. Evans is sharing the field with talents like Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, and Bucky Irving. Any of those guys could grab the headlines. But no, it's the 12-year veteran who still steals the spotlight. That's what makes Mike Evans special. No matter who's lined up beside him, he's always the one standing tallest. And Buccaneers fans know this feeling well. Year after year, game after game, Evans has been the definition of consistency. That's why so many call him Mr. Consistency. He's the same calm, humble, unshakable player every single time he steps on the field. And yet, when the ball is snapped, he turns into a nightmare for defenses. Evans isn't just reminding Tampa Bay who he is, he's reminding the entire NFL that even after more than a decade, he's still one of the most dangerous receivers in football. So here's the question. Do you think Mike Evans is still a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL right now? Drop your answer in the comments, because this debate is about to get heated. The reaction wasn't small. It wasn't quiet. Everyone in Pittsburgh noticed what went down. Mike Evans didn't just have a good day. He had the kind of performance that turns heads, drops jaws, and makes even the toughest corners in the NFL shake their heads in disbelief. Think about who he was going up against. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr. That's not just any secondary. That's a lineup full of experience, size, and swagger. These guys are built to shut down star receivers. But on Thursday afternoon, they couldn't touch Mike Evans. He was unguardable. Every route looked sharp, every catch looked easy, and every rep tilted in his favor. And here's the best part. It wasn't just Evans. The Buccaneers' wide receiver room as a whole came alive. Emeka Egbuka kept finding space and showing that explosive burst, always a step ahead of defenders. Jalen McMillan capped off practice by shining in a 2-minute drill, grabbing key plays that made the offense look unstoppable. The entire group, young, hungry, and fearless, showed flashes of why this unit could be one of the most dangerous in the league. But make no mistake, the veteran still sets the standard. Mike Evans got the ultimate sign of respect, a day off. Not because he's slowing down, not because he needs rest, but because he's already proven everything that coaches need to see. He's been through battles. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a future Hall of Famer. And when you're still dominating playoff-caliber corners in your 12th season, the coaching staff knows you've earned that break. That's the message Evans sends to the younger guys every single day. Experience doesn't mean comfort. Longevity doesn't mean slowing down. It means showing up, competing hard, and proving over and over again why you're great. And that's what makes him such an inspiration for players like McMillan and Egbuka. They're not just learning from a veteran. They're learning from one of the all-time greats, a player who refuses to let age stop him, a player who makes winning look like second nature. And let's not forget the rest of this group. Tyus Johnson is expected to get his first preseason action, finally giving fans a look at what he can bring to the table. Sterling Shepard is fighting for his role. Young guys like Ryan Miller already showed flashes last week. Everywhere you look, there's competition. Everywhere you look, someone's trying to prove they belong. But the truth is, some players don't have to prove a thing. Along with Evans, guys like Baker Mayfield and Lavonte David won't be suiting up in the preseason game. Why? Because the team already knows what they're about. Baker's chemistry with Evans is locked in. Lavonte has been the heart of the defense for over a decade. These guys don't need to risk injury in August. One reporter put it best after practice: Mike Evans couldn't be covered. He won almost every battle, even against Jalen Ramsey. That's all Todd Bowles needed to see. Game over. No more questions. Evans gets the night off because he already sent his message loud and clear: I'm still that guy. So let me ask you, if you're building the perfect wide receiver room in today's NFL, do you still put Mike Evans at the very top? Or do you think one of the young guns is ready to take that crown? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is a debate worth having. Here's the truth: when you torch NFL starters the way Mike Evans just did, you don't need preseason games to prove anything. And when Baker Mayfield is out there firing darts, dropping deep balls right into Evans' hands, it's clear this offense is locked in. Forget the doubts. Forget the questions. From what we saw in Pittsburgh, these two are ready for September. Now, the big question every fan is asking: will we even see the starters again this preseason? That's always the debate around week 3 of the preseason. Some teams run their starters for a full quarter, sometimes even more. Other teams, they sit them down completely to avoid injury. Every coach has a different philosophy. And right now, it looks like Todd Bowles is leaning toward protecting his stars. And honestly, can you blame him? As much as fans want to see Evans on the field, as much as they'd love another Baker to Mike highlight, nobody wants to risk an injury in a meaningless game. Preseason isn't about the stars, it's about the depth. It's about finding those hidden gems, those underdogs who can step up if disaster ever strikes during the season. If Mike or Godwin or Baker goes down, who's next in line? That's what August football is really about. Still, the message from Thursday's practice was loud and clear: Mike Evans doesn't need preseason. Reporters like Scott Smith said it best: Bowles has no reason to roll Evans out there after what he just showed against Pittsburgh. The man practices like he plays, all in, full speed, zero wasted energy. That's why teammates call him the model of consistency. Because when the competition steps up, Evans doesn't take it easy. He raises the bar. And the best part? He does it without talking. He doesn't need to trash talk or make a scene. He just lines up, runs his route, and reminds cornerbacks exactly who they're dealing with. Future Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Take Jalen Ramsey, for example. Everyone remembers the epic touchdown Evans caught against him in the near comeback against the Rams. Ramsey still talks about it, still shakes his head like, man, he just flat out beat me. That's the beauty of Evans. He doesn't just win, he leaves a mark. Even veterans like Ramsey and Slay respect him, because they've been on the wrong end of his highlight reel. And here's the scary part: Evans is in year 12, yet he still looks like he's got plenty left in the tank. If Ramsey is entering the twilight of his career, Evans is showing that he's aging differently. He's still strong, still explosive, still carrying that same fire from his prime. And if Thursday was any sign, he might actually be widening the gap. Mike Evans doesn't just beat corners, he breaks their will. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Mike Evans is still the most unguardable wide receiver in football, even at this stage of his career? Or has someone else taken that title? Drop your answer in the comments and tell me who you'd put your money on when the game's on the line. Let's be real, it didn't matter who lined up across from Mike Evans on Thursday. Darius Slay? Joey Porter Jr., the young corners the Steelers are hoping to build around? None of them stood a chance. Evans made every rep look unfair, like a future Hall of Famer schooling both veterans and rookies. And that's what makes it so special, because Evans isn't just dominating, he's teaching. He's showing the young guys what greatness looks like, what fundamentals and experience can do when combined with pure talent and heart. This is what separates the good from the great. Mike doesn't shy away from competition. He runs toward it. He wants the best. He craves those one-on-one battles with elite defenders. Because the truth is, iron sharpens iron. And for a player like Evans, every matchup is another chance to prove, not just to the world, but to himself, that he's still at the top of his game. And yet, fans know there's always that cloud hanging overhead: the whispers. The talk shows. The skeptics waiting for the headline. Mike Evans is slowing down. We've heard it before with other legends. We saw it with Tom Brady at the very end. And eventually, it happens to everyone. But let's be honest, if you watch Thursday's practice, you know it's not happening to Mike. Not yet. Not this season. Maybe not for years. Sure, he's admitted he won't be around for another 5 seasons. Wide receivers rarely last that long, but that doesn't mean he's anywhere close to done. Look at his draft classmates. Odell Beckham Jr. once electric, now fighting just to stay in the league. Meanwhile, Mike Evans, same draft class, is still torturing secondaries, still in every top 10 wide receiver debate, still feared by fans across the NFC South. That tells you everything you need to know. And the best part? Mike doesn't even ask for special treatment. Todd Bowles practically had to force him to take a veteran day off. That's who Evans is, a grinder, a leader, a man who shows up ready to work every single day. He doesn't coast on reputation. He proves it over and over again. And that's why he's the face of this franchise. This Buccaneers team has balance. They've got a mix of veterans with championship rings and hungry young talent ready to carve their names into history. No massive egos, no drama, just football. That's culture. That's leadership. And Mike Evans is the heartbeat of it all. Baker Mayfield has already bought in. The receivers are following his lead. And the results? Explosive. We're living in a special moment of Buccaneers football. This offense is dangerous. This locker room is united. And when Mike Evans is your tone setter, when he's the guy teaching by example, you know you're watching something special. So here's my question for you. How many more elite seasons do you think Mike Evans has left in the tank? 1, 2, 3? Drop your prediction in the comments and tell me if you believe he can keep proving the doubters wrong all the way to another contract. The first preseason game gave us plenty of surprises, but now the real test comes in Game 2 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is where depth players prove if Week 1 was luck, or if they're ready to carve out a role. All eyes will be on Nick Jackson, the young linebacker who turned heads with an interception and a sack against Tennessee. One game can make a splash, but 2 in a row? That starts to build trust. The Buccaneers desperately need answers in the linebacker room with Lavonte David's future uncertain, and Jackson might just be that hidden gem. But he won't be the only storyline. Shiloh Sanders is expected to get more reps with JJ. Roberts dealing with an injury. This is his chance to show growth, to prove he's more than a name, and that he can fight for a role in this defense. Every snap counts. Every mistake is magnified. The Steelers will bring physicality, speed, and pressure. It's the perfect battlefield to test who's truly ready to wear the pewter and red when the regular season comes. So here's the question. Who's going to step up under the lights? Will Nick Jackson rise again, or will a new name shock us all?